Well, today we're going to have a go at making some pocket hugs, and I'm going to try something a little bit different on each row. I want to have an indent here so that when they're cast, they're indented. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to work or not, but I've cut some vinyl out and it says a hug for you, and I'm going to stick that in my mold, and hopefully when I cast them they will cast and have that little bit of an indent there. Now they should stick to this mold because I've given this mold a really good clean, so it should be sticky. But what I don't know is if this is going to be deep enough for the actual indent to work. So I'm going to try it with a single layer on this first one here, like that, and then I'm going to do a double layer of the vinyl on this second layer. So all I'm going to do is put one layer on top of another, and it says a hug for you. And I'm also going to make some little cards for these to go on as well. I've mirrored them because obviously I want this to read the right way once it goes on the actual thing. So when I turn it over, it says actually a hug for you the right way round. So that's why I mirrored them. Well, I've got all my labels on there now and they're all nice and mirrored. I'm just going to make sure that they are fully stuck onto that mold, which I feel they are, and they all say the right thing as you go round. This one I've doubled up, so I've got 2 layers of vinyl, and this one I've got a single layer, so we'll see which one works out. Now I'm going to mix up my resin-crete, and remember, for every 100 grams of resin-crete you need to have 30 grams of water. There is a brilliant kit out at the moment as well. I'll link that in the description below if you want to get hold of that. I'm going to mix up about 150 grams of the resin-crete. That means I'll need 45 grams of water. If I need to mix up more, I can. Actually, I'm going to do 200 grams. So it'll be 60 grams of water. And I'm also going to use some of the resin-crete colours in here. And I'm going to use the red pigment. I need 60 grams of water. There we go. Give my pigments a good shake. And now stir this in. You want to make sure you've got it to a really nice, smooth consistency with no lumps in it at all. Now, before I put my red in, I'm going to put a couple of drops of the brown and mix that in nicely, and I've found that this gives it a much more reddy appearance as opposed to just putting the red on itself, because resin-crete is so white it can give a really dull colour of the red sometimes. So I found that this works really well. And now if I put my red in, give that a nice mix up, it'll give me a lovely pinky red. So there we go, that's all nicely mixed up. And now what I'm going to do is pour these in. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with these last 3 at the end, because I'm going to try something a little bit different with those as well. Now I've over poured on most of these, but I'm not too worried about that because it will still look okay. Let's give those a bit of a tap, let the bubbles come to the top. 150 grams probably would have been enough. And now I'm just going to wipe some of this off here where I've over poured. I am always, as anyone watches me knows, I'm an over pourer. So just be careful when you're pouring. Now if this doesn't work out what I've done here with the letters, then what I can do is anyway the same as what I'm going to do with these bottom ones. So they're not going to be wasted. But I had to try it, because if I didn't try it, I'd be wondering about it forever. Oh, look how much mess I've made. Who else is as messy as me? Anybody? I should call my channel The Messy Crafter rather than Steve McDonald's Crafting, I think. Right, I'm going to give those another tap. Let these cure up for about an hour, even though they will probably be solid after about 30 minutes. I will leave them in the moulds for about an hour, and then we'll come back to them. So all my resin-crete now is poured. I absolutely love this stuff. You really must give it a try. It dries so much harder and crisper than any other powder I've ever used, and it is fully eco as well and water-based. So these are dry now enough for me to be able to take them out. So let's take the single layer ones out. And yes, they have definitely got an imprint in them. Not very deep, but actually deep enough probably to be able to highlight those. But let's have a look at the double one. Now you could cast these now, seal these up and cast them in silicone, and then you would definitely have this mould forever if you wanted it like this. I didn't find it too much trouble to do it like that. That one has definitely come out a lot deeper. I think doubling it up has really worked well. So I'm now going to pop these back in my curing machine for the next couple of hours, and they'll dry them out thoroughly to allow me to do the next stage to them. These are all lovely and dry now. I have been in there about 2 hours, and what I'm going to do is paint in the a hug for you using this gold paint, and that's the next stage. And then I've got one more stage after that. This gold metallic paint paints so easily, and I will link it in the description below if you want to try and get hold of it. If you haven't got any gold metallic paint, then I'm sure there's lots of other paints that you could use for this. And Resincrete paints so well. Got that little indent in there. We haven't got to be too worried about how neat we are, which is just as well because I'm not very neat at all. So once I've painted those ones, then I'll show you what I'm going to do with these and how I'm going to finish them all off so they look beautiful when you give them out to people. It's all about making them look really good as well. The paint and everything is dry on these, and what I want to do is give them a bit of a finishing off. What I've got here is some of this dragonfly glaze. Give that a bit of a shake, and this comes out great on Resincrete. It also gives it a bit of a seal, so if you want to put something else on it, you can over the top. Just get a brush. I like to use a nice soft brush with this, and then I can do the fronts of them like that. You only need a thin coat, and I'm going to go all the way over, trying to brush in the same direction all the time. And one coat is normally enough, but if you want to put a second coat on, you can, and that makes it look really nice. I'm also going to do these ones where I haven't got anything else on them. It not only helps to protect them, but it also really enhances that colour. And I think the colours come out so much better when you pop a little bit of a darker colour in first. Unless you're using orange and yellow, they really colour so well anyway. Look at that. So pretty. So we'll leave those and let them dry. I'll finish off the rest, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do to finish them off and how I present them. So these last three, how I'm going to do is I've got some stickers here that I've cut out on my Cricut that says a hug for you in exactly the same way as I've done the other ones. And these look really nice too. Popping those on because I've covered this in the dragonfly glaze. And now they'll stick on there. So there we go. We've got now a hug for you. Some of them are indented and painted on, and some have got the stickers on. I like both of them. I've also got some cards here, and they say a pocket hug from me on some different card. It's double-sided card, and I'm going to attach these there. So when they take the hug for you off, it says from me, a pocket hug from me, and you can give those to whoever you like or sell them. If I was to sell these, I would sell them at about $4.99 each, and I think they would sell quite well. So to stick these on, what I'm going to be using is these little pads, and the great thing is they will kind of give it a bit of a space in between, and also they come off really easily if people want to take them off. But if they don't, then they sit on there nicely like that, and then they can be held up like that. If you want to take it off, you just unpeel it from there and it will come off and work brilliantly. There we go, a little packet of pocket hugs, all finished. Love how they've come out. I think they make great little extra gifts and maybe put a smile on someone's face as well. If you've enjoyed this, boot the like button, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to check out the video that's coming up next. I think you'll really like that one as well. Take care, enjoy your crafting, bye.